Hey guys, so I don't know about you, but while we're all on quarantine or stay-at-home orders or whatever you want to call it, I've been kind of getting antsy, and I decided to remedy that by taking on a few bigger projects just kind of around my house. So yesterday I spent a pretty decent chunk of time going through all of my plants to kind of get them ready for spring with the DIY insecticidal soap, and then I reset my entire plant area that you can see behind me. So without further ado, let's get going. So here is my collection at the beginning of the project, just kind of a really messy, disorganized plant area with no quarantine zone. And we are going to jump right into getting our DIY insecticidal soap recipe going. I just added around 2 tablespoons of Dawn dish soap, and now I'm going to put about a half gallon of water on top of that. The main purpose of the water is to dilute the soap so that it's a nice thin consistency that'll go onto your plants easily, and so that it won't be so harsh that it'll damage the foliage or the flowers. So if you just want to eyeball the water like I did, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure that you get everything mixed really well so that it's all the same consistency. And you're also going to want to put it into a spray bottle, which you can use later to get it on the really thick foliage or leaves that you cannot wipe clean with a cloth. Okay, so there's no way to fix the lighting back there. I have this really big, nice south-facing window in my bedroom that is perfect for keeping plants. However, that means that I have constant light coming through that window all day, which once again is great for plants, but evidently not for video making. But basically, I have a few goals that I want to, get through for my plants today. And all of them revolve around cleaning, maintenance kind of situation. And there is that little corner over there that I showed earlier in the video that had the purple grow lights. And I want to basically turn that little rack into a quarantine area. And I want to take this table and scoot it over closer to the middle of the window so that it's got more space from the quarantine area, just to kind of make sure that pests have less of a chance of jumping over. I haven't really had much of an issue with pests in the past. I had a minor spider mite outbreak at the very beginning of winter when the air was really drying out. Spider mites love dry air, and they really love ivy, which I didn't know when I first bought ivy. I love ivy. I have one hanging up in the window over there, and then I have one of the ivy that's a curly lock ivy that was affected pretty badly by the spider mites. I have it kind of over on that rack. So I haven't really had a bad pest problem in the past, but this past week, I posted about it on my Instagram story. I did find mealybugs on this little Rex begonia that I have. I'm not sure what the variety is because I got it from a lady on Facebook who didn't want it anymore, but it's really pretty. It's like green and this really deep purpley maroon kind of wine color that I'm super into. But I found a sign of mealybugs, which is this really kind of tacky or sticky white fuzzy substance that you'll find kind of in the crevices of a plant if there are mealybugs. And I found one live, very, very small mealybug. So that leads me to believe that this was towards the beginning, like the, very minor phase of an infestation, which makes me happy because there's a smaller likelihood that they will have traveled to my other plants, which I'm gonna count today, but I think I have around 25 or 30 plants in my bedroom right now. I ended up having to repot and kind of hack down this begonia today because at the time that I found the mealybugs, I had a ton of new first few weeks of spring growth on this begonia. And unfortunately, those really new leaves that were only like 2 or 3 inches long just were not like reinforced or strong enough to make it through treatment. I've been having to treat it probably every 3 days with an insecticide that I have. That is kind of harsh, so I only have it for when I know that there's an infestation. But the thing about this begonia is that it grows out of these, which I believe to be rhizome stems. If we can get it to focus, they just have a ton of little nooks and crannies that pests really love to hide in. So I've been having to treat this little begonia pretty aggressively just to make sure that it gets under control and that the mealybugs go away. So what I'm going to be doing today is putting this in the quarantine and checking out all of my other plants as I go through and clean them with that soap and water mix that I just made, to make sure that none of the other plants have mealybugs, even though I have been checking pretty regularly. You never know when they're going to pop up, and they do tend to travel throughout collections. So I'm going to go through and clean off all of my plants as best as I can with this soap spray. Take all of these plants off of this table and off of the windowsill and out of the window, and I'm going to put them in this little blank space over here so that I can move that table over and resituate everything on top of there. Move the healthy plants that are on that corner plant stand that I'm turning into the quarantine area onto this table into a spot that I think they will be healthy in or happy in. And then I will reset up my grow lights, which I took down, and my humidifier, because there's a chance that it'll need to be moved depending on where I put my humidity loving plants in this new situation. So I guess I'll go ahead and get started. Put this guy back up because since I just repotted him this morning, I watered him and he's been dripping water all over my feet for the past few minutes. So getting into it, one of my favorite little tricks when it comes to cleaning my plants, which I usually end up doing about once a month with an insecticidal soap, is I'll take a sock that no longer has a friend, like the washing machine ate it, or it got a hole in it or something like that. Just in general can't find the other friend. And I'll put it on my hand like this, and then I'll kind of, as I go through, put the cleaning solution, the soap and water mix into this mug. I'll like dab the sock into the mug, and then I'll use that to kind of clean the individual leaves. But there are plants that I have, like this wandering dude, otherwise called, I believe it's pronounced Trandescentia zebrina, that just has way too many leaves for me to like really clean all of them. So that is why I put some of that solution very messily into this spray bottle. I'm just going to give it a really good spray down with this stuff, and the bigger leaves that are kind of further away from the others I will try to wipe down if I can. I'm going to concentrate a lot of the spray sort of towards the head of the plant because that's a little more crowded, and that is, like I said, where pests like to accumulate. So I'll have to do that for this plant. I think I'm going to have to do it also for my Marble Queen Pothos. I'll probably have to do it for my Golden Ivy, possibly also partially for my variegated spider plant. Definitely for the Norfolk Island Pine, because it doesn't have leaves necessarily, it has branches with needles. Norfolk Island Pines don't super like to be moved. They're a little bit less finicky than a fiddly fig, but if you mess with them too much, they will start to drop branches towards the bottom of the plant, and those branches do not come back. And I have had this guy since November, and it's grown like 6 inches since then, which is crazy amount of growth, and I really just want to make sure that it stays happy and pretty. So with that, I guess I'm gonna kind of just get started. just a heads up, a majority of this part where I'm kind of speeding through and taking care of my plants is going to be a culmination of me singing to myself and talking to the camera, which made this project take probably around 4 hours. So enjoy that. Literally just said that I was going to try to get through this without much talking, but I do need to mention this plant, which I love so very much. This is my purple passion plant, or purple velvet plant, and the thing that I wanted to mention about this guy, take the sock off my hand, is that it has all this purple velvet kind of coming out of those dark green leaves. And I don't want to damage that because in my opinion that's part of what makes the plant so pretty. So I'm not going to wipe the top of the leaves, but I am going to spritz them with the soap solution.
Suspension is soft as a cute little baby neck. My clique orders club salads and look like they all sing ballads. She makes my Mondays feel like Fridays. She makes my Ruby Tuesdays taste like honey bonus.
we are officially through putting that soap solution on all of my plants. I think. It's hard to be sure. So now I'm going to start cleaning off the windowsill, cleaning off the table, kind of getting everything situated the way that I want it. I'm not going to stop and talk in the middle of this because it's cleaning, it's not exciting, so I'm just going to get going. Okay, so the situation is that I spent way too much time talking in the first part of this video where I was cleaning my plants. So my phone keeps running out of memory space, and I kind of had to just go and finish this setup without the camera rolling so that I could have time to get started on the quarantine area. I'll insert some video of all of this in the morning when there's light, because this is taking me so long and I woke up so late today that it's dark outside now. I don't know what time it is, but it's dark time. So I'm gonna get started on the quarantine area now. Okay, so now that I've shuffled everything around, once everything is in place over here, I will have a decent amount of clearance between the shelf that's going to be my quarantine situation and the rest of my plants. So the thing is though that this is really difficult to clean underneath and behind when there's a bunch of plants on it. So I haven't done that in a very long time, as you can see. So it needs to be swept, picked up, cleaned up, organized a little bit, but it shouldn't take too long, so I'm gonna get started on it now. So here you'll see me spraying down my plants with just some regular water. Purpose of that is to make sure that everything is well hydrated and humidified, and that I am kind of diluting the soap solution on the leaves that I wasn't able to wipe down, where soap kind of might just be sitting in the pockets of the leaves. And here's our finished product. So everything's in its place. Plants are up in the window, and I have my little gecko wall ornament there. And then we also have the quarantine area that I really wanted to set up, complete with grow lights. And that's going to be a really great space for plants to just recover if they get pests or if they get sick. And here's everything in the morning. So if this is the type of video that you would like to see again, please be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you all very soon. Bye!